Have you ever noticed something strange? The more you're available for people, the less they seem to value you. The more you say yes, the more you try to help, the more invisible you become. You think you're doing the right thing. You think you're being a good person, but slowly, you start losing yourself. Now imagine this. One day, you stop. You don't reply right away. You don't chase. You don't explain. You don't beg for understanding. You just stay silent. What do you think would happen? Carl Jung understood something powerful. He said, when you stop reacting, you stop being controlled. And when you stop being controlled, you start becoming unstoppable. Today, I'll show you why pulling back might be the greatest power you'll ever find. Let's begin. When you're always available, something dangerous starts to happen. People stop seeing you as a person. They start seeing you as a service. You're no longer someone they respect. You're someone they expect. It starts small. A quick favor here, an urgent message there. And because you care, you say yes. Again and again. But every yes you give without thinking, every time you put someone else's need above your own, you're teaching the world a silent lesson. You're teaching them that your time isn't precious, that your energy is limitless, that your emotions are disposable. And the more predictable you become, the more invisible you feel. It's not because you're not good enough. It's not because you're not kind enough. It's because the world respects what it cannot easily reach. And when you're always there, always saying yes, you become easy. Easy to reach, easy to use, easy to forget. And that is the invisible prison you trap yourself inside without even realizing it. But the good news is, once you see the prison, you can break free. Carl Jung believed that the mind isn't just a machine that reacts. It's an energy system. Every thought you have, every emotion you feel, every reaction you give, costs you energy. And here's the part most people miss. Your energy is not infinite. Every time you rush to reply, every time you explain yourself to someone who doesn't care, every time you say yes when your heart says no, you're spending your life force. Jung also talked about the persona, the mask we wear to fit in, to be liked, to be accepted. You act available because deep down, you're afraid. Afraid of being left out, afraid of disappointing people, afraid of being seen as selfish. So, you wear the mask, the helpful one, the always there one. But here's the brutal truth. The more you live through the mask, the more disconnected you become from your real self. And the more energy you lose, the more trapped you feel. Until one day, you wake up tired, frustrated, invisible, and you can't even explain why. It's because you've been leaking energy into people, situations, and emotions that never deserved it. Understanding this is the first step. Now, it's time to talk about what happens when you stop giving your energy away. The moment you stop being available, everything starts to shift. At first, people around you get confused. They wonder why you're not responding like you used to. Some get worried, some get irritated, some even get angry. Not because you hurt them, but because you stopped feeding their expectations. You broke their pattern. They were used to you saying yes, used to you explaining yourself, used to you rushing to solve their problems. Now, silence. No explanation, no overthinking, no endless apologies. And silence makes people uncomfortable. Because when you don't react, you force them to sit with their own emotions. You force them to see the one thing they always try to avoid: their own emptiness. But here's the truth. Their reaction is not your responsibility. Your energy is no longer a free resource. Your time is no longer up for grabs. And slowly, without realizing it, you start becoming something rare. You become someone whose presence has weight. Not because you shout louder, not because you chase harder, but because you finally understand. Your silence speaks louder than any words ever could. When you start pulling back, it's not easy. The first thing you feel is guilt. You start questioning yourself. Am I being selfish? Am I hurting people? Am I pushing everyone away? You feel lonely too. Because when you stop chasing people, a lot of them don't stay. You'll see friends fade away. You'll see relationships crumble. Not because you changed, but because you stopped being useful to them. And that's a painful truth. It hurts when you realize that some people were never really connected to you, only connected to what you gave them. Fear creeps in. Fear of being alone. Fear of being misunderstood. Fear that maybe you made a mistake. But listen closely. That fear is not a sign that you're wrong. It's a sign that you're growing. Carl Jung said that real transformation feels like death before it feels like rebirth. You're not losing yourself. You're losing the parts of your life that were never real. And sometimes, losing fake connections is the only way to find the real ones. Stay with the discomfort. It's not your enemy. It's your doorway to freedom. After the guilt, after the loneliness, after the fear, something begins to change inside you. You start feeling different, calmer, quieter, stronger. You realize you don't have to rush to every message. You don't have to explain every decision. You don't have to fix everyone's problems. You learn to sit with your own energy, and for the first time in a long time, you feel peace. Real peace. Not the peace that comes from pleasing others, the peace that comes from respecting yourself. And when that happens, your presence changes. You don't have to force people to respect you. They feel it. You don't have to prove your worth anymore. You know it. You become rare. Because true self-respect is rare. True boundaries are rare. True energy is rare. And in a world full of noise and desperation, rarity is power. You don't have to shout to be heard. Your silence speaks louder than any words. You don't have to chase love. Your presence attracts it naturally. When you stop being available for everything, you become unstoppable. You don't owe anyone an explanation for protecting your peace. You don't have to defend your silence. You don't have to justify your distance. When you stop being available to everyone, you start being available to yourself. You finally have space to breathe, space to think, space to grow. And the people who truly matter, the ones who see you for who you are, not what you provide, they will understand. Everyone else? Let them go. You are not here to be the emotional lifeline for people who refuse to swim. You are not responsible for fixing what others refuse to heal. Carl Jung once said, "Individuation is the process of becoming who you truly are, even if it means walking alone for a while." You were never meant to stay trapped in a life built on guilt, fear, and endless availability. You were meant to choose. Choose your peace. Choose your power. Choose yourself. The moment you stop explaining is the moment you start living. You were not born to be everyone's answer. You were born to become your own solution. You don't have to apologize for changing. You don't have to feel guilty for growing. Some people will misunderstand you. Some will leave. Some will even blame you. Let them. You are not losing them. You are losing the parts of you that needed their approval. And in their place, you are finding something stronger. Yourself. So, if you feel it in your heart, if you are ready to protect your energy, respect your time, and finally choose yourself, write it below. I choose my peace. Because the world doesn't need another person who is always available. It needs people who are whole. It needs people who are free. And it begins with you. Stop being available. Start being unstoppable.